Well, today marks the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It was December 7, 1941, when hundreds of Japanese bombers attacked the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. 21 ships of the Pacific Fleet were sunk or damaged. Among the ships, the USS Arizona, which lost more than 1,100 crewmen. More than 2,400 Americans were killed in the attack, and some 1,100 or more wounded. Now, the attack drew the United States into World War II, including people right here in Southeast Texas. Here's their story.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
On Sunday, December 7th at 7:55 in the morning, a Japanese dive bomber bearing the red symbol of the rising sun of Japan on its wings appeared out of the clouds above the island of Oahu. A swarm of 360 Japanese warplanes followed, descending on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, completely taking the sleeping soldiers by surprise.
We have witnessed this morning the distant view, the brief battle of Pearl Harbor, and a severe bombing of Pearl Harbor by enemy planes, undoubtedly Japanese. The city of Honolulu has also been attacked, and considerable damage done.
The surprise attack struck a critical blow against the U.S. Pacific Fleet and drew the United States into World War II, including soldiers right here in Southeast Texas.
I was a junior in high school when Pearl Harbor was attacked, and because of my dad's service and knowing what the future was held for the United States, I volunteered to go into the service, as did most of the boys in my high school graduating class.
Well, it's it. We're gonna have to go to war.
A total of 2,400 Americans were killed and 1,200 were wounded, many while valiantly attempting to repulse the attack. For many, Pearl Harbor would be their final resting place. And for one Southeast Texas soldier, it would be 80 years before he finally got to return home.
See, November 1940 was when he left, and then at 17 years of age, 1 month after he turned 17, and then 1 or 2 months after he turned 18, he lost his life.
Japan's losses were about 30 planes and fewer than 100 men. Fortunately for the United States, all 3 Pacific Fleet carriers were out at sea on training maneuvers. These giant aircraft carriers would have their revenge against Japan 6 months later at the Battle of Midway, reversing the tide against the previously invincible Japanese Navy.
You know, one of the heroes was also Wake native Doris Miller. You know, he was a third-class cook who took over a .50 caliber Browning anti-aircraft machine gun on the USS West Virginia, and despite his inexperience with the weapon, managed to shoot down between 4 and 6 Japanese planes before being ordered to abandon ship. Of course, the Doris Miller YMCA is named in his honor, and they also have a Doris Miller Memorial by Baylor University. In Pearl Harbor, not the only thing that we are paying tribute to this morning. Joint Base San Antonio is celebrating a true American hero. The oldest living Tuskegee Airman is retired Brigadier General Charles McGee. He's actually turning 102 years young today. McGee landed at the Randolph Air Force Base on Sunday, coming from Joint Base Andrews near Washington, D.C. He was honored yesterday at the Pilot Training Wing, where the Boeing T-7A Red Hawk, so named in the honor of the Tuskegee Airmen, and featured the iconic red tail, is currently in flight testing phase right now and anticipated to be brought into service in 2023. Happy birthday to that young man right there.